Yeah, we are not the
Hello,
same.
everyone. What's good? I'm back. All right.
Nah,
I know I've been gone for a minute, but I've been working with the AI. I've been
this,
working on trying to
two.
get the storytelling
We are
better with
not
the
the
AI
same.
because I want to do something different. I'm going to continue to work with the AI, but I'm also going to do my story times and still do some of my skits without AI. But just know that there's something coming, and I've been telling y'all, just stay with me. I'm going to make the channel better. Just be patient and be willing to ride with your boy. But the other night I was watching a movie. This story time is inspired by the movie. It's a movie called The Crossroads with Ralph Macchio, I think is the name. His name. He was the star of Karate Kid, and he was also in Cobra Kai. But back in the late '80s, maybe early '90s, but I'm sure around that time, there was a movie called The Crossroads, and it was about this kid that wanted to be a blues player really bad. Studied the history, but he wasn't from the South, but he loved the blues so much he went to Mozart school, but he wanted to be a blues player. So he basically finds this guy that's still living that's connected to one of the greatest players in history. His last name is Johnson. I'm gonna try to put his name on the screen, but he was known to have sold his soul, and to do so, he was supposed to have went to what they call the crossroads. And when you go there, you're to meet someone by the name of Legba. I think it's Legba, but he comes. He grants you the wish you want, whatever it is that you want in your life for your soul. And in this person's case, he was a guitar player and he was one of the greatest ever. The story goes he was once a decent guitar player and he at best was novice. He disappeared for like a year and a half and came back with master skills of a person that has played for 30 plus years. They say it was just unfathomable the growth he had got in short a length of time. And whispers and stories got out that he had went to the crossroad and sold his soul. So in this movie, this is where the movie picks up. And the character played by Ralph is basically wanting to be this blues player. So he's did his research. He finds out that someone that played with him was still living. He finds him in a nursing home. He gets to him and basically he convinces him that he found out that they had 39 songs, but it was a 40th song. And so he went along with it to get out the nursing home, to get back to the crossroads. And I won't ruin it for you, but basically it was a soul in this situation. So I don't want to give up all the movie in case you want to see it. It's called The Crossroads. It's really good. But this story is inspired by it. It doesn't go exactly like the movie, so you can hear this story and still watch the movie. But after watching this movie called The Crossroads about a person selling their soul, my stepfather at the time decided to let us know that this could really happen. Now, back then, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have anything to spread the information that, how Hollywood stars or singers, certain people sell their souls for success. That wasn't widely talked about back then. And I was down in the South. You heard things, but I was told keep keep your nose out of that, stay clean. So I didn't never dig into that type of stuff, but I did hear about it, and this is one of the stories. I can't give his actual name because I don't have um, the rights to tell this person's story, whether it's fact or fiction. So I'm just going to give his initials, and that's RF. Now, I'm gonna just call him R when I refer to him. Now, I made some little notes to help me stay with where I'm at in the story, so ride with me. Okay, we're gonna call him RF. And I heard about him because of this movie. My stepdad decides to tell us. And he is supposedly was this kid that was well, he was a kid, but I'll say 20s, early 20s. When he came to him, he didn't have family. He came to my stepdad's dad's parents. So it would be my stepdad's grandparents. Well, he fell in love with the grandparents. So they kind of took him in as a son. But he disappeared for a little while. And when he came back, he was different. Now, um, the story goes he went to Louisiana and visited this special place called the Seven Something. I can't remember because I hadn't heard this story in over 20 years. But it was the Seven Sisters or the Seven, it was Seven Something. But he went to some place in Louisiana to sell his soul. The story goes that he had to go through these different doors in this place. I can't remember how he got there. We was told a lot of detail, but I'm gonna give you all I can remember. But I do remember that supposedly he had to go through 7 rooms, and each room has something to do with the 7, basically deadly sins. And he had to face all these different things, and each one being worse than the other. Some, I remember them saying they were supposed to be these giant snakes uh, all over the room that, I mean, was incredibly giant. Um, I'm trying to remember what else. I don't want to make anything up. I can't remember what else, but I do remember something about the giant snakes. And basically, when he got to the last room, he was to catch this black cat, put him in this pot of boiling water, while it's living, and get it off in the pot with the lid on it. Once it's done, wait for a bone to float, take this bone and suck it. And I can't remember what else it was, but basically that completed this ceremony.
Follow me.
Now, I left a whole lot out because I don't know it all and I wouldn't tell it all if I knew. But I wanted you to kind of be able to vibe with me as we go deeper into this story. Now, after he done this, he was known to have special talents. It was known that once he came back, he would always wear these sunglasses and this like fedora type hat where he could keep the brim pulled down. and the shades was up. Now, they said he never went without these shades after going there. But the story goes that if you ever got to see him with them or caught a glance from the side of his eyes, they were red and they were very noticeably red. Almost, they're not glowing, but almost like they were glowing. They were so red. The pupil, not the whiteness, the pupil. And also it was known that he was very fast. One of the stories that my stepdad told us at the time was that he had this ability that when the cops or someone would try to shoot or throw something at him, they never could hit him. He would run in this zigzag pattern, and whenever the bullets or whatever they threw get right up on him, it would just veer off. And he said that he came home one day and got my stepdad's dad to come outside with the rest of the children and told them, I want y'all to take a handful of rocks. And he said, once I take off running, I want y'all to try your best to hit me with these rocks. So he said, but don't throw them until I take off running. And they say he stepped off a couple of steps and took out. And once he took out, he had this funny pattern he would run in, and they would throw the rocks at him. And the rocks would get real close to him, but they never could hit him. And if I remember right, Pawpaw was like a baseball player. He had a very skilled throwing arm. So to throw a rock and hit somebody was nothing for him. But they couldn't do it.
Stop! Police! You'll never catch me! This way! Cut him off! Hey, he's heading the alley! Go! Move! Lady, get off! Body inside! What? That's it! Go! Keep going! Keep my man! Keep on! Go! Keep on! I see it!
Now, he started doing petty crimes. And whatever he would get from this heist that he was doing, he would bring them back to my stepdad's grandparents' house and store it in their attic, supposedly. Now, he supposedly had jewelry, money, um, I can't remember what else, just different types of things that he had then gathered along the way. And one day, while he was there, the police showed up. Now, he turns to my stepdad's grandparents and tell them, don't worry about nothing. He does some kind of gesture in the area where the attic entry is. And then he goes and sit down on the couch by the front door and pulls his hat down. These officers come. They ask for him by name. Ask, have they seen him? After asking, have they seen him, they ask, can they search the house for him? Now, keep in mind, he's sitting on the couch by the door that they just walked into. When he walks in the door, they don't see him. Not only do they not see him, they ask to go look in the attic to make sure no one's hiding in the attic. And I know what you're saying. Ain't that where the stuff is? Yep. He goes into the attic. He cuts his flashlight on. And if I remember correctly, R supposedly did something to his hat tugged on his hat and put his head down further, and the officer went through the whole attic with the flashlight. Come back down, said, "Thank you, ma'am. Sorry to bother you for your time. Appreciate your cooperation." And the officers get in the car and drive right off. But there was also stories that he was known, they caught him, but they never could hold him. One of the times that they caught him, they had him in handcuffs in the back seat, hands handcuffed behind his back. They're going down the street after apprehending him in an arrest, and all of a sudden they hear the car door open in the back. They look back, the cuffs in the seat, and they see him running through the ditch, jumping out of a vehicle doing 55 plus. So this is some amazing talents. Then another thing I remember that they said about him is that you could not wake him up. They was told if he was asleep, never to wake him up because he would wake up in a full sprint. I guess because he was always on the run. Something's happened because he had sold his soul. He was running for his soul. Whenever he would wake up out of bad dreams, I don't know. But it was said that someone tried to wake him up and he ran him over and pummeled him and hurt him really bad. So no one woke him up from the front. You had to get to the side of him and tap him. Well, these officers were very angry about this guy because they can't shoot him. They can't keep him in cuffs. They can't keep him apprehended. So one day they decide, we're going to get this guy no matter what. And the story goes that one day he was in from being out for a while and he came in for some rest. He was on the front porch, sleep. And these, you know who, came while he was asleep and put him on to sleep, if you get my drift. Because they could not wake him. If he was up and moving, they could not deal with it. And that was the first time I had heard about someone selling their soul supposedly outside of a movie. And his initials were RF. So, yeah, imagine going to bed after hearing that story. So I hope this story was pretty good. And stay tuned for the next vid coming real soon. Much love to everybody that's supporting the channel, watching the videos, thumb up, and commenting. Thank you. Much love. And I want to send a big love out to the entire planet. Peace and love to the globe. We need it.
Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.